Good day, class. I'm Mrs. Abubakar Naomi Adama from the Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology. Today in our class of course PSB121, Introductory Plant Science, we'll be discussing the plant kingdom under the subheading Identifications in Plant Kingdom. Plants are one of the most fascinating and important groups of organisms living on Earth. They are autotrophic and synthesize their food using the process photosynthesis in the presence of chloroplast, or rather due to the presence of chloroplast. The cells have a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. Plants can be identified based on the following. 1. On the basis whether the plants have a well-differentiated body and the presence or absence of specialized tissues for transport and the ability to bear seeds. Kingdom Plantae is classified into different divisions. The first division we have is Thallophyta. The second division, Bryophyta. We have division Pteridophyta and Phanerogamia. Let's talk about division Thallophyta. These are the lowest or lowermost plants of the plant kingdom. The plant body is not differentiated as roots, stem, and leaves. They are commonly called algae. They live mostly around the swampy environment, aquatic environment. Example of such is Pyrogyra. We have division Bryophyta. One of the basic characteristics of Bryophyta is that they are small terrestrial plants. They show differentiation in the body design with stem, leaf-like structures, and root-like structures. They do not have any specialized tissue to conduct water and other substances. And they live in damp, sandy habitats and are often referred to as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. We also have division Pteridophyta. These are supposed to be the oldest vascular plants. The plant body is differentiated into roots, stem, and leaves, apart from having a specialized tissue for conduction. The tissue helps in the conduction of water and other substances from parts of the plant to the other. And a good example of Pteridophyta is fen. Now, for the phanerogams, they are seed-bearing plants. The plant body is well differentiated with stem, leaves, and roots. These plants also have a well-developed vascular system. Now, under plant identification, you can also identify plants on whether the seeds produced are naked or whether they are enclosed. Phanerogams are further classified into two subdivisions. We have the gymnosperms and the angiosperms. That is depending on the seeds. Now, gymnosperms are plants with naked seeds. They have a well-developed vascular tissue but do not have vessel. There is no fruit formation and the seeds are hence said to be naked. We have the cycads, the pinus. Mostly they are used as ornamental plants. We also have for the group angiosperm. Angiosperms are seed-bearing plants. Seeds develop inside tissues that get modified to form the fruits of the plant. They are also known as the flowering plants, and they are found abundantly in nature. That was one of the differences between angiosperm and gymnosperm. Gymnosperms are relatively scarce, but the angiosperms are found abundantly in nature, virtually everywhere. These plants are usually terrestrial, and they may be annual, biennial, or perennial. That's the angiosperms. Vascular system is well developed with xylem and phloem. On the basis of cotyledons, angiosperms are further divided into monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. This is also a way of identification in plant kingdom. Now, identification of plants on the basis of leaves. Based on the leaf arrangement, plants can also be identified. We have the simple leaf. When a stem have just one blade leaf, it's called a simple leaf. And we have the compound leaf. Here, the blade is divided into leaflets. Now you can also identify plants on their veins arrangements. The arrangement of veins in plants is known as venation. You find out that some plants have parallel venation, that is, when the lines running through the veins are parallel to each other, is known as parallel venation. It's seen in rice, maize, and virtually all monocots have this kind of vein arrangement. Then we have the reticulate venation. Here the veins are in a form of network, mostly seen in dicot plants like beans and granules. Another means of identification in plant kingdom is identification on the basis of roots. We have the taproots and we have the fibrous roots. The taproots are roots that go deep into the soil. The fibrous root, on the other hand, is a root whereby the system are severally tiny in nature. They're approximately in the same size with no single root bigger than the other. They mostly help, although they absorb nutrients, but they give balance to the plants also. They also help in giving balance to the plants, but also absorb nutrients as well as water. Another means of plant identification is identification on the basis of life cycle. We have the ephemeral plants. This kind of plants, they grow very quickly. They take advantage of optimal condition. That means within a cycle, they can grow as long as the essential nutrients, the essential condition that is needed for their growth is being supplied. Mostly our vegetables. You have the right to control the growth of such plants. Then we also have the annual plants. Now, these plants with this life cycle, they complete it within a given season. You know, your granules, your maize, they take more, it's within a season that they are being cultivated. Then we have the biennial crops. This kind of crops, their lifespan is in 2 growing seasons. This can be seen in purple, mango, you know. Then we have the perennial plants. Perennial plants are plants that grow through many seasons before reproduction. Sorry, mango can't be a biennial crop. Mango is an example of a perennial crop because it takes seasons before it grows. So it's not a biennial crop. It is a perennial crop. Also, on the basis of whether the crop plants can be is used, how the crop plant is used, you can also identify a plant. For example, the cereal crops, they are crop belonging to grass family, grown for their edible seeds. The rice, maize, these are cereal crops. We have the oil crops. Oil crops are crops that basically they are grown for their ability to produce oil, which we know is one of our key products in our homes. We use oil for virtually every food. Example, the granules, the coconut, the palm kernel oil are being derived from such plants. We have the sugar crop. Sugar crop are grown because of their sugar content, which is greatly used in our daily meals. Example, the sugar cane. We have spices and stimulant plants. Example, pepper, ginger, kola nuts, all these are spices plants. We have the grain legume. These are grains that are cultivated for their proteinous nature, their protein content. Example, the beans. We have forage crops. Forage crops are grown with the sole aim of feeding animals. Example, grasses. Then the cover crops. Cover crops are also grown for the main aim of producing adequate cover, to a particular land or ground during a fallow period. Example, we have the cowpea. Thank you for listening. PSB121. PSB121. Good day, class. Good day, class. I'm Mrs. Abubakar Naomi Adama, Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology. Today in our PSB121 class, we'll be discussing this. Thank you very much for listening. Good day, class. I'm Mrs. Abubakar Naomi Adama from the Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology. Today in our PSB 121 class, we'll be discussing the uses of plants under the following heading: medicinal uses of plants, agricultural uses of plants, uses of plants as food, as source of food, uses of plants in industries. Green plants provide most of the world's molecular oxygen. They harness their energy from the sun which sustain most of Earth's ecosystem. They have also been a crucial source of food, medicine, and materials throughout human history. Plant science is no longer confined to the study of how and why plants grow the way they do. In today's century, the 21st century, plant has grown beyond, or plant science has grown beyond the normal how do you plant a plant and how the plant grows, to solving a lot of global challenges like climatic changes. They protect the biodiversity, they also improve global health. Medicinal plants are also known as medicinal herbs. They have been discovered and used in traditional medicine since the prehistoric times. Plants synthesize hundreds of chemical compounds for functions including defense against insects, fungi, diseases, and herbivorous animals. Drug research sometimes make use of ethnobotany to search for pharmacologically active substances, and this approach has yielded hundreds of useful compounds, which include the common drugs, aspirin, the quinine, and opium. Medicinal plants are widely used in non-industrialized societies like the Third World, mainly because they are readily available and cheaper than other modern medicines. In many countries, there is little regulation of traditional medicine. But the World Health Organization coordinates a network to encourage safe and rational usage of these traditional medicines. The botanical herbal market has been criticized for being poorly regulated and containing products with no scientific research to support their medicinal claims. Here it's a display of some of the herbs that are commonly used in our homes as source of medicine. We have the normal ginger and garlic, the cloves, the scent leaves, lime, as well as others. Now, agricultural uses of plants. Agricultural plants means any plant that is being grown or produced for commercial purposes, including growing, maintaining, or producing plants for sale or trade, for research or experimental purposes. Such plants are tagged agricultural plants. Agricultural plants include, but is not limited to, we have grains, fruits, vegetables, wood, fiber, or timber products, flowering and foliage plants, and trees. Here is a commercial farmer in his commercial farm. This should be a rice farm. Uses of plants as food. Humans depend on plants for food either directly or as feed for domestic animals. Agriculture deals with the production of crop plants and has played a key role in the history of civilization. Now, today's society, barely 30 species of plants are used for deriving food, or Although then we have over 7,000 species of plants being used as source of food. Research has it that now just barely 30 species are being used as source of food. This should be due as a result to, I believe, the introduction of technology, whereby a lot of foods are being derived from other organisms. These include cereals such as rice, wheat, starch, roots, tubers such as cassava and potato, and legumes such as peas and beans, vegetable oils such as olive oil, which provide lipids. We also have fruits and vegetables, which contribute to building of giving vitamins and also the minerals to our diets. These are some of the crops that are being used as food for the survival of mankind. Now, industries also make great use of plants. There are several important produces that are being produced from plants. Structural minerals and fibers from plants, which are used to construct dwellings and to manufacture clothing. Wood is used not only for building, construction of furniture, but also for smaller items such as your musical instruments, your sport equipment. Most of them are derived from plants. Wood is pulped to make paper, cardboard. The paper industry, they make use of such. Cloth is often made from cotton. Thread used to sew cloth likewise come from a large part from cotton. So you could see some of the vital products that are needed for the activities of man being derived from plants. We also have chemicals that are being derived from plants. These chemicals include the nicotine, the methanol. All these are key in the activities of man. Plants such as tobacco, the cannabis, the opium poppy, and coca, they yield psychotropic chemicals. Poisons also from plants, which include the astropines, the ricin, the hemlock, are of great medicinal values also, and they are derived from plants. We also have fossil fuel coal, our petrol, our natural gas. They are all derived from remains of aquatic organisms, the phytoplankton, which they are all plants that live in water. Products derived from plants include our normal soaps, shampoos, perfumes, your cosmetics, your pens, your varnish, turpentine, rubber, latex, your lubricants. You can list a lot of them that are being derived from plants. I believe you've learned a lot through this class on the uses of plants to mankind.